Alright guys, so the internet is in a frenzy today as a man was killed by ICE agents. Apparently he was shot and killed by ICE agents. And the internet is just going bonkers. The radical left is foaming from the mouth for this guy, for Renee Good. She fucked around and found out, just like this guy fucked around and found out. And of course, the leftist media and the radical left are painting a narrative. People on social media are painting a narrative as as they always do, with this guy playing the victim. This guy is their martyr, apparently. The Renee Good, everybody saw through the bullshit of Renee Good, and so they need another martyr, and another martyr, and another martyr, and they're going to keep coming out with martyrs until people on the left just lose control and start rioting and looting and burning. Pretty much Summer of Love 2.0. But I want to break down this particular incident. As the video shows, it shows this guy struggling, resisting arrest from ICE agents. So they didn't immediately shoot him as the left is perpetrating, as the left wants to say. But it shows this guy struggling with ICE agents, and apparently the guy had pulled out a gun or he had a firearm on him. I'm not too sure. I couldn't see because the video just shows, bodies all over the place. But what we did is we generated the story on X via Grok. And of course, we're going to be going to the social media feed. And then I pulled up some articles on the internet pertaining to this particular incident. So we're going to go with Grok first. And what Grok pulled up is pretty much like a summary of everything. It says here, the man shot by federal agents involving ICE and reportedly Border Patrol and Customs and Border Protection in Minneapolis today on January 24th, 2026, has been identified as Alex Preddy, or Alex Jeffrey Preddy in some reports, a 37-year-old U.S. citizen and resident of Minneapolis. And here are the key details from the reports. The incident occurred Saturday morning in South Minneapolis near 26th Street and Nicollet Avenue, apparently around the same place that Renee Good was shot. Not that that really matters. He was fatally shot by federal officers during what appeared to have been an immigration enforcement operation or arrest attempt amid ongoing protests and a surge in ICE activity in the city. Official statements, including from Minneapolis Police Chief and DHS sources, indicate he was armed with a handgun. He had a valid concealed carry permit, and there are claims he was involved in a struggle or posed a threat. So, if you have a firearm, if you are armed with a firearm, that's one of the first questions that police officers even ask you when conducting a stop. They ask you if you have any weapons or anything like that, because that quickly changes the situation. They got to be on high alert. And so this guy apparently he had a struggle with ICE, and he was shot, and that's pretty much facts. He had a struggle with ICE, and he was shot. So he was resisting arrest, and it shows in the video that he was resisting and fighting, and that he was shot. So some accounts, including bystander videos referenced in news and expos, describe federal agents wrestling him to the ground, beating him, and then shooting him multiple times, even after he appeared motionless or had surrendered or disarmed. And that's not what I saw in video. I saw this guy. He was struggling, was fighting. For what? For what? If you don't fuck around, you're not going to find out. But if you fuck around, you're going to fucking find out. It's simple as that. It's really black and white. So conflicting narratives exist. One side from Greg Bavino, who is the Border Patrol commander, suggested he had intended maximum damage or to attack law enforcement. They even have this photo that it shows where he's getting in the face of an ICE officer. Now, I don't know about you guys, but there's something called personal space, especially if you're a federal officer or a police officer or any officer for that matter. And everybody has to respect personal space, but especially if you have a firearm, especially if you're an officer conducting your duties. And for this guy to get in the face of an ICE officer and not, to fuck around and not find out, that's preposterous to me. And that's just that picture. And you could see he has that look in his eyes like he wants to do harm. There's a picture that it shows him in the face of the ICE agent, and he wants to do harm. He's being the aggressor. So he's been described in some posts as an ICU nurse, though this is not universally confirmed in major outlets. This is at least the second, possibly the third fatal shooting involving federal agents in Minneapolis in recent weeks this month, and heightened immigration enforcement under the current administration, sparking protests, clashes, and calls for accountability from groups like ACLU of Minnesota. The event was captured on bystander video and graphic and some shared showing a struggle and shots fired. It has led to significant unrest, street closures, additional federal agent deployments, including mentions of DEA, ATF, FBI backing up DHS, and political reactions from Tim Walz, out of all people. This is Tim Walz, out of all people, is commenting, saying, "Oh, this is an abomination. This is atrocious. Let's we're still getting the information on this said incident. So what we're going to do is I'm going to go to certain articles. We'll see exactly what they're saying. So this is Care News. Federal agents shoot man in Minneapolis. And they show this guy, Alex Preddy, 37-year-old Alex. They include that he's a nurse and that he has his concealed carry permit. That justifies him to get in the face of federal agents and be at a protest. Like, how irresponsible are you to interfere with federal officers? Out of all people to interfere with, you interfere with federal officers conducting their duties because you're armed, because you've been propagated by people on social media for likes, clicks, and views. They're looking for the martyr. And this guy's like another Renee Good. So he fucked around and he literally found out. Now the left is freaking out. So they call for violence. The left calls for violence. And when they get not violence in the offense, but violence, as the federal agents are conducting their duties, and they're playing defense, right? So they're playing defense. And the left is complaining that the violence is being used against them. They're calling for violence. But when violence is used against them, they start crying. But, that's typical left. They're a little bunch of fucking bitches. And I think real Americans, people who actually have common decent and common sense and who actually voted for a secure border, voted for a crackdown on crime, actually know what's up. So 37-year-old man killed, and they immediately include, yeah, he was a nurse. And the guy who shot him was a 8-year Border Patrol veteran. So the guy knows what he's doing. He's not a rookie. So he fired defensive shots after a man with a handgun approached him and violently resisted when officers tried to disarm him. The police chief believed the man was a lawful gun owner and with a permit to carry, which means literally like nothing. If you're gonna do stupid shit like that, all that just can go down the toilet. You have the right to do it. You also have the right to, if you're gonna do stupid shit, you're gonna win stupid prizes. You play stupid games, you're gonna win stupid prizes. That's also within your rights. You could do whatever you want, but what happens to you, is all incumbent on you. It's all dependent on you. So this guy could have avoided that situation if he never would have started shit, essentially. Alex Preddy. And really, they're saying condolences to the family, and it's all fine and dandy and all that, but you know, does this guy really, really, does he? I mean, I'll give him that. I'll give him that. He's dead now. His family is probably all sad, as if any family would be. But then again, they can't say that he didn't bring this upon himself. It's not like ICE is just looking to gun down people. They're not. They're not blood. They're not thirsty for blood. That's what I'm saying. But you know who is thirsty for blood? All the leftists on social media. They're thirsty for blood. And when federal agents are forced to defend themselves, when federal agents are, and that's the thing too. Federal agents shouldn't be with their back against the wall playing defense. But local law enforcement is told to stand down and not assist, and hence that's how you have situations like this. And let's see, AP News. Yeah, it's not clear. The video is not really clear. The video is not clear, but what I think is, this guy was propping himself up. He was a vegan agitator. He got in the face of ICE agents. And, you can see from the picture, he gets up in the ICE agent and he has that look in his eyes like he wants to do, like he wants to be violent. And so he has phone in one hand, he has gun in the other hand, and you really got to be careful. You can't, if anybody gets up in your face like that, it's like, dude, you're kind of asking for it. So you have the left going crazy. Let's see exactly what they're saying. And they have people calling for violence against ICE agents. They're, keyboard warriors. And let's see. Actually, was arguing with one on social media in regards to this incident. Oh, Salvi Bombay 69. Of course, you would be from El Salvador or have an El Salvador flag. And everyone's calling her out on her garbage. So Salvi Bombay 69. This is her. She's really not attractive, by the way, either. Looks like some weird Latina black chick with a choker who just completely woke. And she had this to say. She said, "At this point, everyone needs to gang up on ICE." But at this point, in all caps, everyone needs to gang up on ICE. There it is. So that's a straight up call for violence against federal agents. And it's actually refreshing to see people responding to her and saying what a stupid thing for her to say, and that she's gonna, she's just thinking she's on the right when we're on the right, literally, you know, we're on the right side of history, and she's absolutely wrong. And she has a El Salvador flag or whatever that flag is. I think it's El Salvador. Go live in El Salvador. Go go say something like that in El Salvador. Bukele would have you, the shaved head, up in CCOT, and like with the quickness. You probably should be in CCOT. Can we send Salvi Mommy 69 to CCOT? She's trying to defend her shit. Honestly, she thinks she's doing a good job, and she thinks like she's gonna be like, a leader, a radical leftist leader, and she calls me out. But I bet you she's regretting what she's saying. I don't know if she has a job or not. I personally don't know this person. Don't care for what they have to say. But if you're calling for violence and when violence is used against you, you start crying. That's not the way the world works. And people actually know what's going on. Fake news again. Go ICE. And you have these leftist soy boys. Trump's Proud Boys in New Uniforms by Kevin Cassidy. Yeah, typical leftist. There was a gun. Next time, comply and don't bring a gun to a protest and confront federal agents. Minneapolis, they have a Satan statue in their Capitol building, which is true. Tim Walz, he allows Christian churches during service to be interrupted, but, they have a Satan statue in their Capitol building. So that's who these people are. They're the straight up enemy of the people, of Christians, of whites, of Americans. That's who these people are. That's who we're up against here. Another comment. The Democrats and their media caused this. Second Amendment violation. ICE is doing amazing work. Sure, he has the right to carry a firearm and do all that, But once he starts fucking around, he starts finding out, and I can't emphasize that enough. Look at this dude. Jeffy on the beat, some fucking black dude in a suit. And he's saying this is crazy. At this point, everyone should know what to do. So he's calling for violence, but he's trying to be discreet. Buddy, we all know what you're talking about. Supermain 713. We need to start giving the same energy back to them. Stop letting them do this. Make them pay. So once again, the lefties calling for violence. Look at this guy, Nacho Sancheezy. This guy literally is just calling death to all ICE. So it's like these are all domestic terrorists at this point. And you didn't get this. You didn't just get this type of rhetoric in January 6th. These guys are far more violent than January 6th protesters. If you want to call them protesters, they were in. Look at this guy, Nacho Sancheezy. So he was calling for the death of ICE just now in the comment section. Insane. You out there protesting, accept the fact, the reality that this could be your fate if you act out confrontations. True. Don't resist, especially if you know you have a gun on you. Also true. Please show the gun that he pulled out, which is funny because President Trump actually posted it on his account. It's on the news. Looks like a CZ with the SIG Romeo Red Dot Sight Desert 10 slide. Custom grips. The guy tried pulling out guns, so I mean, what do you expect? Also, if he is an illegal, I thought they all knew. I thought they were just all law-abiding citizens and peaceful. Why would he reach for a gun if he abides by the law? Being sent back shouldn't be a problem. Wild America. This guy put wild America. The government against his own people. Civil war coming. You have a picture of a Jordan sneaker, Moises Gonzalez. I don't know where he's coming. Probably from not even American. So he should just mind his own fucking business. Did that agent pistol whip him a few times? Wow. So you can't even see what's going on. And this guy's just guessing. Oh, did he pistol whip him? Wow. Fucking moron. If you're careless enough to go into a hot area with loaded guns and magazines, you are looking for trouble. I stand with ICE. So good. Seems everybody in the comments section, for the most part, is aware of the situation, what's going on, what the left is trying to do, what the media is trying to do. They're trying to propagate something and paint a narrative because they have the Renega, they have, the same thing they tried to do with the 5-year-old, which didn't work, where they said that ICE detained a 5-year-old, and that turned out not to be true. They even tried to return the kid over to, the household, and they saw the kid, and they didn't want to open up the doors for him. So that goes to show how disgusting the left is, honestly. And maybe that kid isn't even that guy's kid. Who knows? I'm just saying maybe. I don't know. But the facts are that these people from the left, they think there's no repercussions to their actions, that they could just make ICE and make, people on the right and Trump supporters, they think they could make cuck us into oblivion. Just like Europe. This isn't Europe. Americans aren't going to cuck, dude. This is what Americans voted for. And they're actually, if I have to be a bit critical of the Trump administration, Uh, I'd say that Obama around this time maybe even deported way more people than President Trump. Um, so I hope in the remaining time of President Trump's term that he doesn't get mobbed by Obama when it comes to deportations. Biden let in a shitload of people into the country deliberately to destroy the country for the Great Replacement. Really, you know, they're trying to erase white people. They're trying to erase the American way of life. They're trying to cuck us into oblivion, just like Europe, just like London, just like France, just like Spain and Portugal and all these places. Those guys have been cut. If they get attacked, they can't even defend their own borders, but yet they want to try to go up against Trump and act tough. Like, oh, you're not going to take Greenland. Dude, your country is fallen. So they're wrong on that issue. But it seems like all the radical leftists, anybody who's liberal has been wrong on all the issues as of late. They have no idea what's going on. And all these anti-ICE protesters really have no idea what's going on either. They're just trying to paint a narrative and they're just seeing red. And the media is, feeding into their emotions. Therefore, they see red and they don't actually look at the facts. They don't try. They don't even try to look at the other side. So there's really no debating with these people at this point, honestly. Maybe some of them you could still like try to win them over, but for the most part, they're just foaming from the mouth, seeing red NPCs. They're literally NPCs, like out of GTA. That's what these people are. But yeah, anyways, guys, thank you for watching. I think this has been a very productive episode today to get to discuss this topic about this guy Alex Preddy and several others like Renee Good, who they're agitators. They're not there for no reason. They're agitators. And with that being said, guys, if you fuck around, you're gonna find out. If you play stupid games, you're gonna win stupid prizes. But just do your own research. Really, just do your own research. These guys don't want that for you. They don't want you to do your own research. They want to tell you what to think.